Welcome to Center Stage, where the lights are shining brightly today on Stephanie Jones. She's a principal at Hawthorne Elementary. So we're welcoming you today to learn a little bit more about your journey through the field of education and how you ended up at Hawthorne Elementary. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Dan.
I know this is something at the top of your list of
Yes.
things to do today. It's usually what we hear from people. So appreciate you being here, though, and allowing us to just sort of tap into Stephanie Jones and what makes her tick. So tell us a little bit about how you ended up at Hawthorne Elementary, kind of your journey. Not your first job, right? Not your first rodeo?
No, it was not my first rodeo. In fact, the funny thing is that I started by student teaching at Hawthorne Elementary. Came kind of full circle. I student taught 4th grade at Hawthorne Elementary when I was doing my student teaching experience there.
Sure.
So I did that there, and also I began by working in one of the early childhood special ed rooms there at Hawthorne Elementary too. That was one of my first parts of my first job. I had a lot together.
Should I ask how many years ago that was?
That
or
was
not?
26 years ago.
Okay.
26 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And so then Hawthorne, you began, was that your first job as well?
It was part of my first job. I
Okay.
actually started at Emerson Elementary, which
yes.
is no longer.
Sure.
I was part-time there and then part-time at Hawthorne Elementary also.
Okay,
So, yeah.
and so that interest in special education, how did you draw upon that interest, or what made you become interested in special education and working with young children?
Yeah, I was always interested in working in education and wanting to work with kids. I knew that was my passion. And just, I think through my student teaching experiences and that, I really became, that was my passion, was to be in special education and be with kids that had those needs that they needed fulfilled a little bit more. And I really enjoyed that. That was what I liked, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a position that we're always looking to fill in the Sioux Falls School District, is to find those people that have identified, yes, I want to be in education, I want to make a difference, and I want to do it with those youngest learners and those who have additional needs beyond a traditional classroom.
Right, yeah.
So, well, that's great, and we're a little plug for others who might be thinking
It's an amazing
about
job.
this. Yeah, there you go, there you go. So after Hawthorne and Emerson?
Yep. Then I went to Hayward Elementary. I was transferred to Hayward Elementary when Emerson closed.
Right.
And did early childhood there for several years, to about 7 years. From there, I went to Cleveland and taught special education resource for several years for 4th and 5th grade. Then Rosa Parks opened, and I went there as also the K-5 special education teacher. And then also taught 4th grade for a couple of years before I started into my administration journey.
Oh my goodness. So you've kind of popped all over the city, the central, and then west, and then far east. Cleveland made a stop along the way there, and then far east to Rosa Parks. And what would you say just about students across the Sioux Falls School District? A lot of similarities in terms of, certainly neighborhoods bring their own sort of flavor to an elementary school, but what would you say about children in general?
They just have an amazing need to learn, and kids want to be in school and they want to do their best. And I think that's for our district, and just the support that we get for our community and all that, it's really pushing our district forward and provides great things for our kids.
Good. So now how many years at Hawthorne?
I've been at Hawthorne for 7 years.
7 years.
This is my 8th year, yes.
Oh my goodness, really?
Yeah.
Time does go quickly,
It does
doesn't
go
it?
quickly.
So as principal there, talk to us a little bit about your student population. How many students do you have, and how many staff?
So our student population has changed greatly since I've been there. We used to be a center-based school for ELL students, and that has changed now that we are no longer center-based, but still have quite a few ELL students. We have a lot of diversity at Hawthorne. We have about a student population of about 300 for K through 5 grades, and then we also have 5 rooms of early childhood education there too. So that's near and dear to my heart, so I always love that piece of being there. So.
Sure. So your pre-K through 5 then. And for those of you who don't know or can't picture where Hawthorne is, it sits right on the hill beneath the cathedral.
Yep.
And so that kind of gives you a picture. And I think it was built in the 80s, if I remember.
85. Yep.
85. Okay, so it's a building that's probably not traditional in terms of its structure. Because you have 3 floors?
Yep, it's very unique because it's built into the side of the hill. So we have 3 floors with the playground on the roof, which I think we're the only school with a playground on our roof. So
well, and that roof then kind of leads up to the road right off to the side. So you just have to see it. If you can't picture it, drive by Hawthorne sometimes. So, and the school really is a neighborhood school.
It is, yes. I mean, many of our kids walk to school every day. We have a little bit of a bus area across Minnesota there, and it's kind of that old school walking. I mean, we have brothers and sisters that walk together, and the older siblings are responsible to get the younger siblings to school. So it's very much the kind of that older traditional school. Yeah.
Awesome, good. And in terms of staff, how many staff members do you have in that building?
So we have about 70 staff members total. We have everything from ELL services to the early childhood services to also the SIPS reading teacher services at our school. So we do have a lot of services that we provide our kids at Hawthorne.
So that good classroom experience plus any additional supports that they need along the way.
Correct, yes.
One thing that I'm not sure, but it just my perception is I feel like you have quite a few male teachers in your building, which is different, and again, once again, we're always looking for male role models in teaching and such. But I've just over the years have thought to myself, Hawthorne seems to have something going here with young male teachers who are driven to make a difference.
Yeah, we do have quite a few. Even we have a counselor. Our counselor is male too. And just that role model that they provide for our kids is so good, and they're amazing teachers. They're also amazing teachers. Our whole staff is amazing.
Sure. Yes, you do have great teachers there.
They provide a lot. We talk about Hawthorne family a lot. As a staff, we refer to each other as a Hawthorne family because we do spend a lot of time together.
Right.
So, and just being able to work through everything together is a big bonus of the Hawthorne staff.
Yeah. Very good. Well, that's cool. Again, it was just something perception. I'm like, they seem to have a lot of men on their staff.
We do.
And you also have a Milken Foundation former winner of the Milken Foundation, which is a huge teaching award. And so people who have a passion for education aren't always looking for like the next best thing, so to speak. They found a good thing at your building.
Yeah. And it seems like nobody ever wants to leave Hawthorne. Everybody wants to stay. The staff culture is an amazing thing there. Our teachers put in 110% there, and they're really invested in those kids and getting them where they need to be. They're there because they want to be at Hawthorne, and they want to teach at Hawthorne.
Yeah, that's so cool. And I know you have fantastic partners in the community that support your kiddos as well. Everything from mentors to reading buddies and just a variety of things. Tell us a little bit about some of those ways that the community helps you out and helps you enhance the education that kids are getting in the classroom.
So we have actually one of the largest mentor populations at all the elementary schools at Hawthorne, and we do the mentorship program as a reading program. So they read with the kids, so they get that little bit of extra reading that they need with their mentor over their lunch and lunch recess. So that's an amazing program that we have also. We also have Ransom Church that is our partner, and they come in and help with anything from field trips to, they're coming today to help with Fall Festival and providing things to help with teachers and anything that we really can find, they are willing to help us out. So.
And that's been a kind of a push in the community is to get faith organizations to adopt a school where perhaps there isn't a PTA or a PTO. Right. We know that Sioux Falls and South Dakota has the highest percentage of working families, dual parents who are working, and that puts a different spin on parent involvement at a school, and it's not because they don't want to be involved. Correct. Or they're taking, I'm just not going to participate, but really the challenges of today make it such that we need those community partners now more than ever.
Right, correct. I mean, we have very much a working population of parents, and a lot of our parents work swing shift. So if one is working, the other one is at home taking care of the other siblings in that. Sure. So it is very hard for them to get into school and be able to participate, even though they do try. And we have some great families that are there, but a lot of our families, it's making sure that they're getting to their job and being able to work to provide for their family also.
How important is it, or what do you see happening when the community comes alongside a school and helps with those little things along the way, and big things too? But what do you see in terms of the value that children are getting from those relationships and those partnerships?
Yeah, the value, like our mentors, our kids are getting another person in their life that is a positive role model that's willing to be there for them. It's just another person that they can connect with, and it might be someone that might give them like aspirations. Like we have a lot that come from Premier Baking Card. Okay. And so they talk about their jobs and the things, and maybe about going to college and graduating high school. And some of our kids still might be the first kids to ever go to college in their family. So that's a big push that we're always talking about. You have to graduate. You have to make plans to go on, even if it's VOTAC, college, whatever it needs to be. Look long term and make those plans for kids. And they really help with that. And just I think they provide our staff and our kids with things that maybe we wouldn't be able to get without their assistance and help. Yeah. Right.
And so planting those seeds early about, as you said, graduation and what's next then after graduation. As a young child, it seems so far into the future, and but yet we know as parents that goes quickly.
It goes very quickly, yes.
So it seems like a really great place to be in truly the heart of our city and in the central part of the city. And I know that over time, Dr. Maher has talked about the importance of those neighborhood schools in the core of our community, and really investing in that and not leaving that as, we're just building these new schools on the outside of town. Yep. So you've been in Rosa Parks when that was a new school.
I was, yeah.
And then that core, there's probably, as we said, maybe a bigger neighborhood feel there, where Rosa Parks was just sort of emerging and becoming a neighborhood.
Correct. Because when I started at Rosa Parks, it was in the middle of the cornfield.
Right. Most new schools are in the middle of the cornfield.
And it does have a different feel, because it is truly that neighborhood school, and parents truly do walk to our school and are in our school. And that compared to when you're busing kids in, you may not have that constant daily connection with a parent, whereas when I go out at the end of the day, I'm connecting with several parents at the end, because most of my kids walk to and from school, and a lot of times parents are there to meet them at the end of the day.
Right. My kids, you just said, my kids walk. Let's use that as springboard from your school family to your home family, if you will. Share a little bit about yourself and your family.
Okay, so I have 3 daughters that we all grew up in Sioux Falls. We've been in our Sioux Falls all our life. I was born and raised in Sioux Falls. So been here all my life. I have a husband who teaches also at Lincoln High School. So he is a teacher there of personal finance and marketing. My 3 girls are in college, all 3 of them. Yes,
Yay.
All
3. Oh, yes, but that's hard on the pocketbook, right?
But they are great girls. And it's funny how everything comes, because 2 of mine said, I never want to be a teacher. I never want to work in a school. And now one's going to be a school counselor. One's going to be an early childhood teacher. And my last one, who just started college this year, said to me the other day, Mom, I really think I want to be an early childhood teacher also.
Oh, my goodness.
So they're all ending up, it sounds like, in a school population.
Sure.
So, And that's amazing things. They're great kids.
Yeah.
They work hard.
Yeah.
Yes.
So did you come from a family of educators yourself?
No, my family owned a business. They own Spencer Furniture here in town.
Okay. I didn't
So
know that.
I do have some good side traits that I can lay some tile and flooring really well also if you need that.
Well, come to think of it, maybe I'll get you for a project I'm working on at home here.
Interior design. I sell some great furniture.
Okay. You've got that for.
I've got that piece, yes, for retirement maybe. I don't know.
There you go. Or just the design of your school or the layout of classrooms and all kinds of things.
Yeah.
So that's a long-standing business in our community.
Yes, it is.
That has been around for. Used to be
over 50 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we celebrated our 75th not too long ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were downtown.
Downtown.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And now along I-229, right? Well, that's a long history in Sioux Falls. So what about your husband? Is he from here as well?
He is. He is also here. He was in the military for 23 years and then became a teacher. It's kind of his second career here.
Right.
So, yes.
Well, that's a great piece to have as someone who has served our country and then can bring those experiences and that passion for community and pride and that type of thing into the classroom as well. And yes, I know he's deeply involved with projects at Lincoln and kids there and really getting them thinking about those future plans with marketing and a variety of things.
And the DECA, he runs the DECA organization.
Right.
So he does that too,
Yeah, and to think now that you have 3 who may consider or are seriously considering education, did you think that would be the path they'd take?
I didn't, and each one of our kids have been an individual and we've really encouraged them to explore their opportunities and do what they were excited about. And my oldest actually started her own business also. She's finishing up her grad school work for school counseling, but also owns a dance studio and teaches dance.
Well, why not?
On the side, you might as well, if you're going to be busy, you might as well be really busy.
Oh my goodness.
So she owns a dance studio in Minnesota, Releve Studios, and her and a friend started that 4 years ago, and have run that, and that's her passion, that's her love.
Sure.
And has really enjoyed that, along with many hobbies. My kids have always been involved working with other kids, which is kind of funny, either by coaching gymnastics or things like that. So they've always had that passion to work with kids, but also had thought, maybe I want to do this.
Sure.
Maybe I want to be a lawyer. Maybe I want to be a doctor.
Yeah.
But then kept coming back to no, I really think this is my passion and what I want to do.
And finding that passion is so important if you're making a commitment to college or a future career, that type of thing. Now your husband had the opportunity to probably see the world a bit through military service and learn various skills and still came back to education. So that's really great legacy that you guys are leaving in our community. So that's very cool. What do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun? I also am a group fitness instructor at Avera McKinnon Hospital Fitness Center, and I love that. I do a lot of reading. I like to read a lot.
What kinds of reading do you do? Is it educational type of reading, or is it
during the
free
school
time?
year? It's educational. In the summer, I get to do some free time fun reading that I enjoy. Both. I love both, and we love to read. We're avid movie watchers.
Okay.
That's kind of our fun time, my husband and I, is to go watch a movie on the weekend.
Sure.
Catch a movie.
Are you a Netflix person or a movie theater person?
No, you got to go to the movie theater.
And have the popcorn
and
do the whole experience.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Well, there are some great movies out here too lately that I'm looking forward to seeing with my family and such, and that's always a great opportunity. And we have good entertainment options in Sioux Falls where you can do that or even hit the theater, the West Mall 7 Theater for a little reduced price. And so
exactly.
Can't leave out Cinemark if I'm promoting. I guess I got to do it all right. What about, are you guys into restaurants, dinners, that kind of thing, or staying at home and cooking?
Well, We usually spend Friday and Saturday out with some friends.
Sure.
And we usually do go to the restaurant, and oftentimes you'll find us hanging out at Barnes & Noble after eating.
Oh, sure.
That tends to be, we go and read.
Read.
We go and read.
Of course you
and
do.
everybody goes, you go out with your friends and you go and read. Yep, that's what we do. That's our Friday, Saturday night.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, we're out in the community a lot, but yet those weeknights we try to save for at home to be with our kids and those things too. Now, as the kids have gone to college, a little less time that we get to spend with them, but we still try and have those big family meals and dinners just to get some time with our kids in that too.
Sure, sure. Those relationships, family relationships, and the relationships you establish with your students. Yeah. We invest a lot of time in that, and why are those relationships with your students and their families so important? I mean, we talk about that a lot in the schools.
We do, and I think that relationship piece is how we get our kids further, because when they have that relationship piece, they want to be in school. They want to see that person every day. And just to walk into a classroom and have 5 kids give you great big hugs and say, you know, Mrs. Jones, we're so excited you're here. Let me show you what I've done today is an amazing piece. And just to have those parents who will come back and say, you know, you're the one person who listened and cared about what was happening. Thank you so much for that. And our whole staff, I mean, it's nothing to find a teacher walking out with a kid at the end of the day to talk to a parent, to let them know they had a great day. Or, you know, today was a little bit harder, but here's how we're going to go forward from here. And that's what we talk so much about, giving parents that positive about their kids, because, you know, it is really hard to parent kids a lot of the time. and they need to hear that they're doing a good job too. And that we're there to support them as a team. And if we all work together, we can get these kids through school and on to the next thing in their lives.
Right. Well, it is such an important thing to have a strong foundation.
It is.
And build that early. I know one of the things we also talk about with that relationship, and you alluded to that, is school attendance and it being so critical to success, because when kids lose chunks of time for various reasons, that can really put them off kilter, where, oh, now I'm back, but I missed the lessons, you know, from the last 2 weeks, or I missed it, you know, before or whatever, and now I can't build on that. And that's really a lot of what education is, building on previous skill.
Yep. And with our new English language arts curriculum, a lot of it happens in discussion in the classroom, and you can't replace that by giving them a book and saying, here you go, now this is what we did yesterday.
Page 21 through 30 or whatever, because,
And that's how we prepare our kids to go out into the world, is by teaching them to be able to have those discussions with each other and to disagree appropriately, and those kinds of things in the classroom is giving them those skills, so that when they do go to a job and they don't agree with something, they can do it appropriately and not have a consequence for that. So we work on those skills all the time. And just when they're not there, they miss those pieces of having that discussion or seeing their friend, and just even creating that relationship of wanting to be at school, because, you know, if you're not there every day, then you're missing those friendships, you're missing that work, and it just gets harder and harder for kids to want to be there.
Well, one of the pieces, you know, is that academic learning, but also touching upon that social, emotional learning. What do you guys use at Hawthorne? I know there's a variety of tools out there that schools are using to help students develop those positive interactions with one another. And, oh, today I'm feeling this, I'm feeling sad, or I'm feeling frustrated, or whatever, identifying those feelings. So what do you guys
We use the Boys Town model
Sure.
at our school too, for teaching social skills. That's one of our main platforms for teaching social skills with kids.
Sure.
And then we also use the Caring School Community program, and that's our program that we use for our morning meetings and things, and that really works on that social emotional piece with kids, and looking at, can you identify what you're feeling, or how can we give you those skills to go out into the world and be a successful person.
What does a lesson like that or a morning meeting look like for people who,
Sure.
what, morning meeting?
Yeah.
Yes, we do have morning meetings
We
in
do have
elementary
morning
school. So
Sure.
explain a little bit about what that is,
Sure.
because I'm guessing some of our viewers are probably, maybe even did one-room schoolhouse kind of things.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. And it's kind of like that one-room schoolhouse. It's a time where all the kids come together. And it's important that all the kids are in a circle with the teacher. And we really stress that everybody's part of this community, part of this family in our classroom. And they take that time to make sure that every child is greeted every day, so they're acknowledged every day. They take that time to maybe do the announcements for the day and any interesting things that we have. And then they also take that time to do something fun with the kids. Have an activity that is related to probably the social skill that we're working on, but kids actually don't know that that's what they're working on.
Sure.
But a little lesson there that goes together in a fun way for kids to make sure they are learning those things and are able to apply those skills in their time. And that's kind of, and sometimes there might even be an academic focus thrown in there too, just as a fun game or activity that kids like to do.
I've seen that before, where they're in a circle and they might be doing, addition as a, I have a card that has a number 4 on it. Who has the card that has a number 3, or depending upon, and then it kind of goes around the circle, and everybody gets a chance to speak then, and you can work on bringing out the shyness and also temper down the kids who are always the ones raising their hands and things like that, and give everybody a fair chance at having conversation.
It's just an amazing way to start their day, because it starts kind of in that family unit. We're a family, we're a community, and it just gives everybody a great start to the day.
Right. Have you had a student that you can think of over your years who has come back to you and has reconnected with you? Because I think that's one of the things we always tell students, if somebody made a difference in your life, go back and share with them that. Or did you have somebody that you connected with as a student yourself that you've gone back to over time?
Funny thing, Sharon Schuler was my math teacher.
Oh,
yes, in
Sharon,
high school.
Yeah, Sharon's longtime Sioux Falls School District employee, a math teacher, and then became an administrator as well.
And she actually was the one I attribute Sharon Schuler to, the love of math for me.
Good for you.
Because I had her for all of my high school math, Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2. I think I rigged that so I could have that.
Have her every single time, right?
Yes, because I had her for Algebra 1 and she made math make sense.
Oh.
And it was funny, then when you come full circle and you come back and you're a teacher in the district, and then she had that curriculum service job and a piece of that, to know that, she did make a difference in my life, and probably was the one who made my love of math as strong as it was, because she was such an amazing teacher.
Yeah, that's great. And that just turns over so many times. I myself had an English teacher and really did not like writing at all. And yet she said, you have a way of storytelling. I think this is something for you to consider for a career. But I'd never thought about that before. Planting that seed is so important, and here I am, writing as a major part of my job. I think those little suggestions and pushes in the right direction, you don't maybe recognize it at the time, but so critically important to the future and what that child may be.
Right. You may be, sometimes you're the one light in that kid's life to go, oh, I get it now. This is what I need to do.
Yeah, very good. Well, that's exciting for kids to experience and to really discover. Maybe, somebody else thought I was good at that. That's cool. I should consider that. So, well, what final things have I not asked you that you are just dying to tell us about yourself?
Dying to share? Oh my goodness. I would say just, my passion has always been title schools. I've always been into title school, except for Rosa Parks was my first one. And just the things that title schools and we can bring and do for kids is amazing. The district has been a wonderful supporter of providing us those opportunities that maybe kids wouldn't get by giving us, the extra reading teachers and things like that to really support our kids and make them successful for their journey in education.
Yeah, and one day those little learners in your classrooms, who knows what they could be.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, could be the next Premier
Principal.
Bank card person, the principal, the police chief, what have you. So always wanting to inspire and move kids forward. Well, thanks for sharing with us today about yourself and about your great school that you have going on there at Hawthorne Elementary. It's a neat place to be, and again, if people aren't familiar with it, head on by the cathedral and
come see us.
Take a look, and it's a great place to be. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Dan.